Hi, this is Nicole with the email portion of this class. So just to go over what we're going to be doing in this part is I'm going to basically make the case that email marketing is not dead first, because I think a lot of people, in particular if you're like me and get a lot of email, don't understand that most people don't feel that email is a bad thing necessarily. I'm going to talk a little bit about the steps you can take to set up an email marketing tool for yourself. I'm going to talk about basically automated email, which includes RSS and drip campaigns, and I'll get into what those are, and also reading your email stats, because that can help you figure out if what you're doing is working for you and your customers. So you may have noticed that every company collects your email address because it's really the only direct way that they can follow up with you after the fact. And something that I've heard, there's a guy named Derek Halpern who manages the website Social Triggers, but I guess before he did that, he had a celebrity gossip blog or something like that. And he was approached by somebody who wanted to buy it. And when they found out, though, that he didn't have an email list, he lost actually a lot of money. They said, oh, we would have offered you an extra multi-million dollars, because currently, or with just a website that had good traffic, he couldn't guarantee that he would always have good traffic, or that Google wouldn't make a change that made his website appear lower in search results and decrease his traffic. The only way that they would have people to directly follow up with was be if they had email addresses. So your email list is an important part of your business, because it's a list of people who want to keep in touch with you. Email works really well because, first of all, if you use a email marketing service, which you have to if you're doing any kind of marketing type email sends, you have to do that. It has data like how if your email's opened, if links are clicked within it, if it's forwarded to anybody, which is really cool because then you can see direct results of something that you've sent out. It's the only way you can reach all of your customers, because people might not want to join Facebook, or they might not want to join Instagram, but pretty much everybody has an email address. So it's a way to reach all of your customers, not just certain ones. You can actually create segmented lists. So for example, let's say that you only wanted to reach people who, let's say that you collected information about your customers, like their name, where they lived, and, I don't know, their email address or whatever. And let's say that you decided that you had something going on in Fort Kent and you only wanted to email the people who were in Fort Kent about it. You could segment your email list to do a marketing send only to the Fort Kent group. So that can be really powerful too, because you can send things to specific groups of people that are pertinent to them. You can regularly communicate with people who've opted in to hear from you. With an email marketing service, they have to do that. That's part of the whole law of it, and I'll get into that in a second. And people generally like getting marketing emails more than other types of marketing, because they can open it when they want to open it. It's not like sitting in their feed and something they have to deal with. They can respond or not respond. And, if they want to be able to refer back to it, they can save it for later. They can put it in a folder and be able to find it later on in a way that's a little bit easier than other types of marketing that are available. So I'm going to talk a little bit here about kind of 4 steps to any kind of email marketing thing. 1 is, collecting email addresses. 2 is building your template, writing it out, and then after you send it, kind of, looking at the results of what happened and adjusting for the next round. In terms of collecting email addresses, there's certain things that we can't assume. We can't assume that everyone gets to your homepage, or that everyone goes to your website, or that your friends already know you have an email list, or that people will just give you their email addresses without good reason. So I'm going to go through what some of these are. So you can't assume that everyone gets to the homepage of your website. So for an example of my website, I know that 40% of our website visitors get to the homepage. That means 60% of people don't go to the homepage, which is the majority of people. So what we want to do is we want to give people multiple ways to sign up for our email newsletter. So 1 is that you can have a little checkbox in a sign-up form. I'm sure you've seen this before. Click here to subscribe to updates about our products and services. Another thing is you can have, and I'll just show you actually what these look like. So here it is in just a contact form, subscribe to email updates. I will say 4 out of 5 people click that they want email updates from us. And it's something I just added a couple of years ago, and I feel like kind of an idiot for not adding it before. But when people fill out our contact form, it's like, oh, sure, yeah, I do want that. I do want to hear from you once a month. So add it sooner rather than later, and then you won't be like me and wonder why you didn't. Another way that people make sure that people see their email sign up, this is called the light box effect. And I'm sure you've seen this, not just with the email signups, but with other things. It's when you go to a website and the background kind of goes black and then something pops up. It makes it look like it's almost lit from behind, like a light box. Get it? So one thing, and as you see, there's like you don't have to put in your email address to see the site. You can close it out, but this makes sure that you definitely see that there's an email sign up on this website. And if you ever want to look at like what your options are, always look at marketing people's websites, because chances are like they're experimenting on you. So you can also put some kind of sign up in the sidebar of your website. By the way, the sidebar is the bar that's on the side of some of your web content. Some websites have sidebars, some don't. You can add one relatively easily if you have a website. And that way, no matter kind of where people are on the site, even if they're looking at something else, they see the email on the side. Or I guess if they're on a mobile device, it would be below it. The other thing is you can add something to the header or footer of the website. So this is the header of a website, and I just kind of cut it off so that you can see it. And I mean, honestly, this could be a little clearer, but you get the point. You can either put a bar like this on the top of your website or on the bottom of your website. And that way it's on the same page all the time. And it's not necessarily messing with the rest of your website design. And then I think this is the most ballsy, which is that you have to enter your email address to even see a part of the website, or, so like I said, always look at marketing people and they'll give you some interesting ideas of how to do things. But I kind of showed you them from increasing in the least aggressive, which is having it in a sign up form, to the most aggressive, which is making people put it in to see stuff. But all that to say, use it for what works best for you. And also certain things are possible with certain email softwares. I hear SumoMe is actually a you can actually put it on just about any website from what I can tell. It gives you a little snippet of code, and you can put a little email subscribe option. And if you use Constant Contact, MailChimp, any other marketing software, they will give you code and other things that you can do to add these things to your website. So don't worry about this. I just wanted to show you what some of your options are so that you know what you're looking for, and also have the search term that you're looking for. So let's say you're setting up a constant contact list and you're like, you know what? I want to add a constant contact email, a sign up for my constant contact email newsletter to the sidebar of my website. You could go into Constant Contact's help section and you could type that in and actually probably get an answer. So sometimes it helps to have the name of the thing you're looking for. We also can't assume that everybody gets to our website. So what we want to do is give them multiple ways to understand that we have an email list without necessarily having to visit our website. One is that you can use the call to action buttons on Facebook. So on your Facebook cover image, which is that big image on the top, there is a little button. Actually, I think they moved position since I took the screenshot, but you can actually change that button to say any number of things. But one of them is called sign up, and that can link to your email newsletter sign up. And what you can actually do with your call to action buttons is you can see how many people click on them. So that's what I'm indicating with the arrow on the side. As you see, 0 people signed up the week that I took the screenshot, but people do sign up from there, I swear, just not often. The other thing is I can use an app on my Facebook page. So what I did here is I installed an email app that shows my sign up form. So if you click on mail sign up, and actually I think they moved the menu, so now it's below the profile image. But if you click on email sign up, you'll see that you can sign up for our email newsletter right within Facebook without having to leave, which is kind of a nice thing. If you're not on Facebook, remember that every social media site, like I talked about last time, gives you a place that you can put a website link. And so what you can do is you can link to the newsletter sign up part of your website in the in whatever. So in this case, this is an Instagram post. So this person or this company is sending out their email newsletter. And so you see that it says link in, if you read the caption, first ever Felt Tales newsletter went out this weekend. You too can sign up and get 20% off your first order. Link in profile. So what we know to click on their profile, and the link right below it is where to sign up for the email newsletter. You can do that on Twitter. You can do that on Pinterest. You can do that on any social media site because they give you a place to put a link. And so you can put that link instead of to your homepage, you can put it to where they can sign up for your email newsletter. You can also have some kind of real life sign up. If you have a counter or you have, you can also kind of throw a fishbowl out and just take people's business cards. I'm always surprised at how many people sign in. Actually, I had a client bring in, she's been a client for like eight years or something. And she finally, at our last meeting, she said, I finally remembered to bring you our guest book. And it was full of email addresses. I ended up paying an intern to type them out because there were so many. And she has like 800 in there. It was crazy. So just, and it's not something they had actively had their guests say, oh, sign up for an email newsletter. They just had it out on the counter and we're just collecting them. So you could do something like that at your business as well if you have a physical location. You can also set up a way that people can join email via text. I just found this one thing online. It's $19 a month. So if a lot of your people are standing there with their smartphones and you want them to capture email addresses, you can actually set up a way that people can do that with text messages. So just wanted to throw that out there as an option. And you want to use other email lists to your advantage. Like if you have another friend in business that has an email list, or if you have a business group that you're a part of. So a couple of things I have in here are, like I told you in the social media seminar, if you post anything on LinkedIn, a status update, it'll end up in people's weekly email digest. So you could talk about your email newsletter in that. You can also post, to forums about, that may have email summaries to get the word out. And you can use your membership organizations and, others to get the word out that you have an email list, and link back to your sign up form from there. Now, the other thing too is we can't necessarily assume that people are just going to willy-nilly give out their email addresses. They're used to people bugging them about things. But usually if people give their email address, they may want to get some kind of offer, or they may want to get something for free. And this doesn't have to cost you a lot, and I'll just show you right now. So one thing, I'm on this email list for a fear of missing out. So these people email me once in a while. They send me a thank you coupon code, but they give me a certain amount of time at which I can spend it. So that kind of lets me know that, I like to know what's going on there. But another thing that you can do is offer them something for free. So in this case, what I did for our shared office space is I realized that we do a lot of event promotion and event hosting here in the space. And so we made just a free 6-page guide of how to promote your event here on Mount Desert Island. Here are the Facebook groups you post things to. Here are the newspaper, websites and other online calendars you can use. Here's other ways to get the word out you may not have thought of. And so the idea is that someone who downloads this wants to host an event in this geographic area, and they're probably in our target audience. And this helped us grow our email list a little bit faster than we would have normally, because we're just offering people something for free, and it gives them a reason to finally put their email in. So if we look here, and I get that this doesn't look super impressive because honestly, we didn't do a great job at promoting our ebook in 2013, but you see that there's a bump in subscribers right here. And this is where we made an ebook. So as you see, we got like 20% more subscribers that particular month. And maybe we did it a little bit the month before too. But you see that there's an increase here at a rate you don't really see other places along this timeline of our email newsletter subscribers. So it can be a nice way to grow your email list in a shorter period of time. The thing is, if you give something away, it doesn't have to be anything that's like really financially valuable to you. It can be something that they just can't get anywhere else that's interesting. Now, the thing is, what you don't want to do is make it a giant poster, like a giant advertisement. There's nothing wrong with having your, and on ours, we just put our logo and we had a little information box on the 6th page. But, there's nothing wrong with making it a little bit branded and to have, because people are downloading it and they're saving it. So there's nothing wrong with associating your business with it, but just don't make it like people gave their email address and all they got was a giant sales pitch. Do save it as a PDF so anyone can open it, and do something formatted within the email. I see. Or make it something that they can open in their email. Because if you send it as a doc, and I just had someone do this to me the other day. They're a Silicon Valley tech company, okay? So you'd think they would know this, but I asked them for their pricing, and they sent me this weird file format that only a very specific program can open that I don't have. And I said, can you send this to me as a PDF? And I had to ask this tech company to send me a price list as a PDF. So if you send something as either a PDF or something that's formatted within an email that so they don't need a Microsoft publisher or they don't need anything special to open it, you are ahead of the game. And I want to talk to you a little bit about segmentation, which is this idea that you can send things to only certain sections of your list. And this may be valuable for you if you have a certain product that's only, interesting to specific people. So I always think of this real estate agent guy I worked with once. So the thing with the email service I'm about to talk about is that you can do email sends for up to 2,500 people at a time for free. If your list is above that, they charge you money. And this guy did not want to pay anything. So what he did is he segmented his list into levels of buyer. So he had like gold, silver, bronze, tin, copper, tin, I think. And then he had other real estate people and then bankers. So, I thought it was interesting to see what category he put me in. But this way I thought it was kind of smart because not only was he not paying from, email marketing, but also he, if he was going to have a $2 million property, he wasn't going to send it to like me, which could not afford a $2 million property. So all that to say, like for specific products, you could segment for a specific age or demographic. So maybe you'd give different love advice to men as you would women if you were a matchmaker. You could collect people's birthdays and send them a little coupon for their birthday at the beginning of the month. Say, hey, all you March people, here's your birthday coupon at the beginning of March. And there's lots of different ways that you can use segmentation, of course, depending on your industry. So here's something that was interesting. So I subscribe to OtterBox, but I have an iPhone, so I don't know why they wanted me to reserve a Galaxy S6 phone case. This email made me think the opposite of this email was for me. And it made me think this is not for me. These people don't know me is what it made me think. So segmentation can allow you to avoid sending emails that don't resonate with the person who's getting them. Now, you can either have people select different options as they sign up, right? So you can have them put in their birthday, for example. And the pros are, of course, that you don't have to do it. And the cons are the more things you ask people, the longer the form is and the less likely they're going to fill it out. So if you're going to segment your list, just be thoughtful about it and ask people just a couple of questions that are really pertinent. If you segment your own list, so let's say that you have, as people sign up, you put them in categories, is that you can create lists you want without your customers having to jump through hoops. But of course, this becomes tedious and time consuming. And it can take a while. But, if I wanted to, I could go through all my customer lists and I could say, what town are they in? Are they a website client? Are they a marketing client? Have they ever attended a workshop? In what sector are they in? These would be valuable things for me to send specific marketing emails to. And it would totally probably be worth my time to do this, but my list isn't big enough for me to have wanted to do this just yet. So I will fully disclose that I have not done this, but I just wanted to put it in your mind that if your email list is relatively small and you feel like you have specific products for specific kinds of people, this may be a valuable use of your time. Of course, you don't have to segment, but you may want to, is essentially, I guess, what I'm saying here. Now, there's actually laws that regulate email marketing. And the two that I can think of that are really important are the fact that, your email template needs to have a one-click unsubscribe. So I shouldn't have to email you and say, take me off your list. That's actually completely illegal. And the other thing is there needs to be a physical address displayed in your template of your business. There's some other stuff too, and I can't quite remember it, but the easiest way to do this, rather than learning all the email laws, is to just use a CAN-SPAM compliant email service. So I have a link here in case that you want to learn more about the CAN-SPAM Act of 1999, but the point is that while you can send someone infinite postcards via mail, you can't do the same thing in their email. I like MailChimp as a service. Other services you may have heard of are Emma, Constant Contact, iContact, Aweber. There's tons of them out there, but I really like MailChimp because it's free for really small lists, which chances are if you're watching this and you're just getting started, you probably have a relatively small list. And I think the next highest up from this, by the way, is like $10 a month, so really doable. There's great integrations. Like it has hundreds of integrations, like over 750 the last time I looked at their integrations. But if you could think of a software you want this to interface with, whether it's QuickBooks or your booking software or Squarespace or whatever, there is an integration for it. You can do RSS Driven Campaigns, which I'll show you in a second. And you can use the paid service to do drip campaigns, which I'll also talk about in a second. When you set up, you basically go to MailChimp.com, you sign up for a free account, and it asks you what kind of campaign that you want to send. Most of the time, you're going to send a regular old campaign. An interesting thing that you may want to send, you can send also a plain text campaign, which would just take out all the formatting and make your text kind of plain. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. It's less pretty, but the other thing that you can do, the third thing down, is an A/B campaign. So remember in the website portion, I talked about A/B testing, which is you send half of your customers one thing and half of your customers a different thing and see how they react. So if you wanted to, you could send half of your customers one subject line and half of them another subject line. Or you can send out half of your emails on one day at a certain time and half your emails on another day at a certain time and see how that affects how many emails get opened. So it's kind of cool. You could, like I said, most of the time you're going to send a regular campaign, but just know that if you wanted to test things, you can. And I'll explain the RSS in a second. So what is RSS? RSS stands for Real Simple Syndication. And here's how it works. So have you ever wondered, let's pretend that you read 10 blogs or 10 websites really regularly. Now, without RSS feeds, what you have to do is you have to go to each website, right? Type in the URL or click on the link, and you have to look and see if anything's new. What RSS does is it scans the website and pulls in anything new and puts it somewhere, whether it's an RSS reader or in this case, it pulls it into an email template. So I say is like, listen, we do a once a week email of all of our new blog posts. So rather than somebody every week having to set this up manually, it goes to our website, it pulls in the new blog posts, and it sends out the email all automatically. So it's really cool because it allows us to give people something. And a lot of times people just say, hey, listen, I miss your blogs unless I get them in my email. It allows us to give people something without it really costing us anything. It doesn't cost us any time or really any effort. We just had to set it up initially. And this is how you do it. You basically just go, you put your RSS feed, so usually your website link in there. If your website has an RSS feed, it'll pull in. And then it says, how often should we send this? And you just pick what days and what time you want it to send, and you press save, and you're done. That's pretty much it. And if you want to, you can make your template a little bit prettier. And it gives you a little guide for how to do that. As you see, MailChimp's very into education. So, if you ever want to learn more about stuff, they have pretty good documentation about how to do everything. Now, I'm going to explain to you what a drip campaign is. And once I tell you what it is, you're going to say, oh, I've totally had that happen to me. So have you ever signed up for something and then you get a little welcome email? And then a couple of days later, you get another email that says, hey, we want to know how you're doing, how you're getting around the site, whatever. And then maybe a few days later, you get something else. What that's called is a drip campaign, because what you're doing is you're slowly sending people information over time, and their information cycle starts when they sign up. So, you can say something, okay, within 1 hour sign up, they get a welcome email. 48 hours later, they get a helpful guide to your services. And 1 week later, they get a list of testimonials and a how you're doing message. So what you do is you just figure out like a way that you want to keep in touch with people that's somewhat automated, but is respectful of where they are in the sort of landscape of signing up for your email. So you don't want to send someone all this information right away in one email, but you also, want to give people, say, if you have a website that they just signed up for, a chance to look around your website before you ask them how it is. Drip campaigns are a premium feature in MailChimp, which means you pay for them. By the way, anytime someone says premium, it means you're going to pay for it in the website world. So if someone says, oh, we have a premium theme for you, or we have a premium, it just means you're going to pay money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, as we're going to get into in the section about marketing on a shoestring, about marketing tools you can use that are less costly or free, it's not that you don't want to spend money. It's just that you want to spend money where it makes sense. So the drip campaign allows people to warm up to you, get the information little by little. It lets your email subscribers all see the same information. So maybe you want all people to understand, the basics of CrossFit, how to pick if CrossFit is right for them and your CrossFit schedule in a certain order. But this way, if they have subscribed to your email list and they've gone through your cycle, you know that all those people have seen the same information. And it's a way of keeping in touch with your audience in a slightly automated way. So just wanted to let you know that was a thing. It took me about a year to figure out what this was called, which is why I wanted to mention it to you, so that if you want to do this, you can do it because now you get the name for it. You want to think about email for your mobile customers. What's interesting is we recently wrote a blog post about, sort of email opens, because what we noticed is one of our clients, 65% of his marketing emails are opened on a mobile device. So it's really important to, if you're not sure how people are looking at your stuff, I will say they're looking at it on a mobile device. What you want to do is make sure your files are small so it doesn't take forever to download your email. And don't worry, if you use a software like MailChimp, it'll tell you when you have a giant image and make you resize it. So just keep mobile in mind as you're doing your email template. You, of course, want to use images, writing for email, writing for the web in general, right? You want to use images to break up text. You want to use headers, bullet points, that kind of thing to guide people through the really important parts of your content. Of course, you want to give some valuable, interesting information and tell them what you like to do. Whether, put a little button that says forward to a friend, put a little button that says, leave us a review, whatever it is you want people to do. Just like you ask them what you want them to do on your website, you can ask them what you want them to do on their email as well. And the final thing, of course, is all email marketing software has analytics, right? This is all in an email marketing database. And so what I can do is anytime that I've sent an email, I can open up the stats for that email sent. Now, this is Anchorspace when it was we have a bigger list now, I'll just say that. But so what I can see is our open rate, which is 51%. And now this might discourage you, but if you look at the list average, it's 57%, so it's close to the list average. The industry average is 16%. So, I like that it puts it in a context, because that way it's not like, oh, only 51% of 41 people, that's like 20 people. So I'm like, okay, 20 people open this. Like that's 21 opened. I see it right here. And then I see the click rate, which is how many times people clicked on links that were within the email. So, 12% clicked. So industry average, list average. So a higher click-through rate to places on the site. I can see that 21 people opened it, 5 people clicked on things. No bounces, no unsubscribes. So you can see lots of data, by the way. And you can see over the course of, you can see when people tend to open things, so that can be helpful. And you can see what links people clicked on within, and what they looked at. So that's cool to know too. And you can also see which people opened the email the most. I will say I don't think this person opened this 127 times. They probably, their email provider might have had a weird way of checking their email that made it look like it kept being opened versus just being reopened. So, I mean, I don't think that's quite it, but you can see which people are engaging with your content. So just know that if you open a marketing email, the person who sent it knows that you opened it. You can see what countries people are in, really generally. And I can even see what, states people are clicking on stuff. There's a lot of things with any of this website or social media or email data that you can keep track of. But what you want to do is pick a couple of things that are important to you and just track those. And for me, it's open rate, how many people click through to our website. And I want to make sure that local people are opening because only local people can physically come into my office. So those are the things that are important for me to track. So a few examples of some email newsletters. This one's really simple. It has one. And what these people probably do is, and I've noticed, is they will use one image and do a shop now. So what they probably do is send this once a week with different images, and they probably see which ones get more clicks throughs to shop now, and that lets them know which one of their, which products are more popular. So this just had one product in it, and as you see, too, it's the way it's set up. It's almost like you're on their website already, and you can just click on it and probably go to that section of their website. I will say, this email newsletter is formatted, well, I mean, I guess I took the screenshot a long time ago. Maybe it's improved since I last took the screenshot, and I'm sure it has. But this idea is that, it doesn't have to be the most beautiful thing in the world. This email list has thousands of people on it. And what they do is they do a $25 gift card with this trivia contest on their website. Or on their email list. So people subscribe to their email list, they get asked a trivia question, you send in the correct answer, and they draw your name for a $25 gift card. So really low cost way for them to keep in touch with literally thousands of people. And it costs them whatever they pay their marketing person to write this and $100 a month in gift cards. This is another kind of simple format. What I appreciate is they sent this right before their broadcast went live, and it probably just kind of got people who who maybe signed up for this broadcast and said, oh, I want to attend this event. They just kind of sent this email out to kind of remind people and get them to the place where the event was taking place online. So, there's Campaign Monitor is a really good email site. I will say something I haven't put on here is MailChimp. Like I said, they have great guides to all their services, and I think they even do a weekly webinar that you can sign up to attend, and they'll give you a whole tour of their software and let you ask questions. So if you're looking to get started with that and don't want to pay someone like me to sit with you and do it, that's another great option too. So the next module, I'll talk about paid ads versus building relationships, because sometimes it's worth it to pay for ads and sometimes it's worth it to not. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching this one.